me for the past almost either 4 or 5 years. I don't remember. Uh, for allowing me to come here actually and we share, some Divrei Torah. It's an honor for me. It's a mitzvah for me. Obviously, it's a mitzvah for you too. You learn, but actually keeps me young. I'm not kidding. Thank God for that. Number two, I wanted to thank all the people that make this club happen. They advertise for it. And I wanted to thank everybody for coming. And I want to thank everybody for making a bracha and eating. That's honest. That's awesome. Because you reveal that even these physical things that are dead, they're from God. That's how you reveal godliness in this physical world, which is our job. But anyways, I just want to share something with you people, and that is, you see, in this age, maybe we don't have that much of this challenge, but when we get older, maybe even today that we're in school, many times we do a mitzvah, and obviously the Torah says that you're going to get a reward for doing a mitzvah. So can we pay attention, please? But sometimes we don't see the reward right away. Not only that we don't see the reward, but actually we see punishments. Like people either make fun of us, or actually I get burnt for doing something good. So I might decide, what for? I'd rather have my private life, enjoy myself, eat, go to sleep, go to my sports, learn on my own. Why in the world should I do a mitzvah? So let's go through something in this week's parasha. This week's parasha we learned there was a 14-year-old boy, young, younger than many of us here. And this boy's name was Betzalel ben Uri ben Hur. He was actually gifted from
He was building the
Mishkan, right? Exactly. He was only 14, just turned bar mitzvah maybe a year before, and God gave him this gift, this wisdom and understanding to actually understand what Moshe is telling him. Can I please ask you guys to be quiet? Otherwise, why can't I come back for the pizza? I have no problem. Please. It disturbs me from speaking. Hope you understand it. Are we in the same team? Thank you. So what happens is, he had the gift to understand whatever Moshe is teaching him and actually teach others. He was the master teaching other Chachmei Lev how to build it. So why did he get such a gift? They know even Moshe didn't have. So but then Rashi writes down, it says Betzalel ben Uri ben Hur. Usually, guys, when does the Torah, how far does the Torah go back? Usually 2 generations, right? The father, the boy and the father. So should have said Betzalel ben Uri. And the Mefarshim prove that because when it comes to Aholiab, who's the second guy, right? It says Aholiab and Achisamach. Doesn't say the grandpa. Yeah, Hur was grandpa. Very good point. Very good point. Anyway, so it says the father. How come by Betzalel it says the grandfather? So everybody knows the famous medrash that it says, yes, when the Jews wanted to make the golden calf, he stood up against them. And they say, dude, you can't do this. He's Avodah Zarah, exactly. And then he got killed on the spot. There's a medrash that says actually they killed the 70 elders too. Rashi doesn't bring that down. The Medrash says the 70 elders stood up and the Arab Rab killed even the 70. That's what Aaron was afraid of. He said, you know what, hey, let me deal with them in a different way. He told him, okay, let's build it, let's push it off, but he wasn't successful. So then, what did he do? He stood up from doing Avodah Zarah, he stood up against them, and the building of the Mishkan was actually bringing God to dwell amongst the people, which showed that he forgave them for the making of the golden calf. So the Torah says, who's fitting to bring the Shekhinah down? Someone's grandchild whose father fought against the serving of the golden calf. That's what the Torah says, Betzalel ben Uri ben Hur. Okay? So now one of the commentators, I forgot the name, I always forget his name, the Manchester Rosh Hashiva, very famous Rosh Hashiva. From Manchester, died 20 years ago, maybe less than that. He's a very big tzaddik, honestly. He's a very, very big Rosh Hashiva, Manchester. I always forget his name. But anyways, he has a sefer that he writes down. We see that you will always get the reward of mitzvahs that you do. Sometimes you don't get it right away. Hur didn't get it right away. He stood up against them, but he got killed. But actually, his grandson was the one that got the merit and he built the Mishkan or something. Exactly, Rabbi Segal. Rabbi Yehuda Zev Segal. Exactly, the Manchester Yeshiva. He writes it down in his sefer. I always forget his name. Segal. I can't. No more. Segal. Can't forget. All right, anyways, that was one thing. Another thing that we find, Jews got a very, very beautiful reward. You see, people, this week's portion in Parasha, we learn about the donations that the Jews brought, right? So then they brought too much. Within 2 days, the Torah says they brought the gifts baboker. Simple learning means they brought it every morning. But it says twice baboker. But first learn, in 2 days, they brought the entire donation. It sounds like the fundraising here, that institutions do. Match. You have 36 hours. Point is 500,000. Within 36 hours, they do it. So actually, the Jews did it then. in the desert. Within 2 days, they collected all the money that they wanted. So then the Torah says, "V'hamelacha hayta dayam vehoter." They brought enough donations, and even extra. Yes, sir.
Why was it so amazing that they brought all of that in 2 mornings? They had all the treasure.
No, it just shows that they cared to bring it. They didn't delay. That's all.
But if
The
they
Mepharshim
cared
said
so
it.
much, how come they did the golden calf so quick?
Well, they did tshuva. That's why they were very eager to fix it. Of course, they made a mistake.
But wouldn't it?
They made it that they're about tshuva. That's, you make mistakes. Anyway, so here there's the question of the Orach Chaim HaKadosh. The Orach Chaim asks, the Torah is contradicting itself. You think they brought enough and extra? He says enough is not extra. Extra is not enough. Enough means they brought enough, not more. Extra means they brought more. So whatever was going on. So the Orach Chaim says something amazing, and Rabbi Segal brings it down. He says they actually brought extra. But God made a miracle, the extra fit in the building of the Mishkan. Why? Why would God make such a weird miracle? Imagine Moshe would say, thank you for bringing donations, but you got, whatever, 1,000 pounds of gold extra, for example. Everybody would be worried. Maybe the donation that I brought, God didn't accept, so I'm not worthy of having a part in the building for a Mishkan. For the Jews not to feel bad, God made that extra miracle, that even the extra donations fit, right? So then everybody felt that, yes, our donation was accepted by God. My action, my donation caused God to dwell amongst the Jews. This is the pshat of, dayam vehoter. It was extra, but the miracle was made that it was enough. Now, Rabbi Segal asks, why did God make such a miracle? They must have had a merit. Of course, they did tshuva. But it says the merit is that it says when Moshe told them to bring the donations, it says, Vayetzu koladat b'nei Yisrael melifnei Moshe. All the Jews left from in front of Moshe, meaning nobody held another guy back. They really all wanted to go and do the mitzvah. Nobody will say, hey, you know what? Could you come please help my wife? So he's going to push him off. Not to bring the donations, so I could bring double donation. No. They all went as one person. L'shem Shamayim, to bring the donations. So God says, you did that out of the purity of your heart. I make sure that the miracle happens. So Rabbi Segal writes down again, when we see somebody sincerely does a mitzvah, sometimes even miracles will happen for them. So the reason, guys, when we have a chance of doing a mitzvah, never say no. Sometimes it's, too hard, I'm lazy, I'm not in the mood of doing it. And I'm saying, what should I do it for? I'm going to get blamed for it. Believe me, the reward will come, as Rabbi Segal points out from these 2 points here. Etzalel ben Uri ben Chur, and the second point, Amlacha Haitza Dayam vehoter. Even though it was extra, but the miracle was made, and that enough to put it in there. Thank you for listening, people. It was awesome.